And with me right now from the United Mutual Board is Carl Randazzo. And Carl, welcome back. You are once again the first vice president.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I got voted in again, you know. Lucky you.
Good to see you here today.
Well, thank you. And I just have a public service announcement. I'm on second here today. Usually United's on first because of the fact that the light at El Toro and Moulton is out if you come down that road. It took me 45 minutes to get from gate 3 to the community center. Just words of wisdom, okay? So just be aware of that fact. So in any case, a couple of things we'll go over today with regard to United. We had our architectural committee, and oh, by the way, there's a couple of not email addresses, websites that I have information that you should be able to get some information from, okay? And you may want to get a piece of paper and a pencil to write these down when I mention them. And so I'll ask you to do that. The architectural committee meeting took place this week, yesterday actually, and I chaired that meeting. That meeting is going to be chaired by somebody else, but yesterday he was out of town. We reviewed an alteration that does not currently have a standard associated with it, and it will need board approval. So it goes through our committee first, and then it goes off to the board. However, we do have standardized many of the alterations within the community that have been requested by residents. And as a result, the process to obtain approval from us has been made easier with just a visit to the alterations office and filling out a couple of forms. Now, a lot of people that have tried to do alterations, they probably say, well, you know, that's not the same case with the city. Well, just to let you know, okay, we are working with the city right now to try to obviate some of those problems and ease the pressure to get permits through. However, for the standards, if you want to look at what standards are available, so you do not have to go through a whole thing, where if these standards are available, you just got to go down to the alterations office and use that standard. You can go to www.lagunawoodsvillage.com/residents, then click on United, Laguna Woods Mutual, and then click on Documents. And then when you click on the documents, you'll see that one of the documents that's listed is a whole list of United architectural standards. And in there, there's about, there's lots, I didn't count them, okay, of standards that we currently have now on the books. You go in there, you say, this is the one I'm going to use. You're still going to get it, you may need to get a drawing from your contractor, but that's going to be in accordance with the standard, and since the standard is already there, you don't need board approval for any of that alteration. And as I said, we are working with the city right now to try to obviate some of the problems we're having with permits. So the thing right now is, the next thing is we're going to talk about is the Village Energy Task Force. And today at 1 p.m., we will have a Village Energy Task Force meeting. The energy in the community is a problem, as everybody has probably seen, because our village is older than 50 years. And the energy infrastructure is, and in many cases, needs to be upgraded and or repaired. Also, due to the influx of California electric vehicles, we need to upgrade the electrical infrastructure to address additional electric vehicles that are coming into our community. So with that in mind, we have hired a consultant to investigate infrastructure in our village. If you're interested in finding out what the consultant has found out so far, then please attend the VETF meeting today at 1 p.m. in the boardroom. The consultant will present what he has discovered so far based on his investigation, and we will pose questions to him. During that meeting, there will be possibly a question and answer session from the audience, but for the most part, the questions will come from the people that are on the committee itself. So please join us at 1 p.m. in the boardroom for the Village Energy Task Force meeting, and you may get some information that you're interested in receiving. As everyone knows now, we have got a new United board, 3 of us. There were 3 people that went off, and then one of those people came back on, and then 2 new people have come on board. And every time we have a new influx of people, we change our committees somehow to make sure that everybody is involved in certain activities. So we have formed committees as of last Monday, and as I've said on more than one occasion, either in a board meeting or here on TV6, and I've said it a number of times on TV6, the Work for United starts and is worked on in the committee meetings. You can go to any board meeting you want, but if you notice, most of those resolutions that are brought forward are as a result of things that have been done during committees. And when you find a meeting on the Team Up calendar, you will also see the agenda and the talking points for that meeting. So if you want to find out what meetings are available besides the chart here, which is currently being shown, you can go to the Team Up calendar, and that would mean you're going to lagunawoodsvillage.com again, and then /calendars, and then you click on the United Mutual. And most of these meetings that are on Team Up are indicated as open meetings for all residents if you want to participate in those meetings. If they're not you cannot attend them, then it'll be indicated as being closed. Some of these meetings actually are had on the second floor, so you'll have to sign in and get escorted up there. But these meetings are open, and if you really have an interest, that's where all the things start for United Board, okay, in the committees.
That's right, for all the boards.
For all the boards, exactly.
Yes.
Now, currently posted on your screen, as you can see, it indicates what meetings we have and what times we have these meetings. So a regular board meeting happens on the second Tuesday of every month, and it starts at 9:30 a.m. in the boardroom. There's an agenda prep meeting, which is kind of boring, to be perfectly honest. Mostly it's only attended by board members, okay, and it just basically goes over what we're going to go over in the meeting. And that happens on the fourth Thursday monthly at 2:00 p.m. Architectural Controls meeting, which is the one that we just had yesterday, is on the third Thursday monthly at 9:30 a.m. in the Elm Room, which is on the first floor. The Finance meeting is the last Tuesday of an odd month at 2 p.m. in the Sycamore Room, which is up on the second floor, so you'll need to get information on that. The Government Documents Review meeting, fourth Monday monthly in the Sycamore Room, and it goes on. Maintenance and Construction is probably one of the ones that many people really are interested in, and that happens on the fourth Wednesday of the even months at 9 a.m. So as you can see, sometimes these happen monthly and sometimes these happen every other month. And it's in the boardroom, so it's really accessible to everybody. New resident orientation, we have two resident orientations, one in the evening on an odd month and in the morning on an even month. The Resident Advisory Committee, which is very important for anybody that's really having some problems and they don't know where to go, and they've been talking to resident services and what have you, okay?
Right.
They can get that information if they go attend the Resident Advisory Committee, and that's open to all residents. That, again, is happening on the second floor. You'll have to sign in and get escorted up, and that's at 4 p.m. It's made it a late enough date for those people that are working. And then the Village Energy Task Force, which happens on the first Wednesday of odd months. So those are the specific meetings that are available for the people who have an interest. Then we have people that are assigned to these committees. And if you look at this chart here, you'll notice that on that committee, these are the committees that I just mentioned. And those committees right now, the current chairs of those committees are as follows. The Architectural Controls Committee, which happened yesterday, as I say. Brian was out of town, so I chaired it for him, is Brian Gilmore. He's a new guy. Communications Committee is Juanita Skillman. The Finance Committee is Elsie Addington. Andre Tong is the Governing Documents Committee Chairman. Landscape Committee is Manuel Armendariz. Maintenance and Construction is yours truly. Member Hearings Committee is Anthony Liberatore. And that committee is basically a closed committee where there's a compliance issues, okay, and we have people that come in and we ask them to discuss why there's certain things happened within, why they didn't comply with certain things. So that is basically a closed committee. But he's the one that's in charge of that one. Resident Advisory Committee is Neda Ardani, and that's the committee I just indicated to you that if you're having some issues, that committee, you go to them. We actually have people from staff that are actually in that committee, and they write down your particular problem. If you've gone through various different other ways to get these things resolved and then found out that you're still not getting your issue resolved, that's where you go. And then a handyman task force, which United is still working on a handyman program. We haven't finally finalized what that handyman program is going to be. So at this particular point in time, most of the meeting times, most of the meetings, there is a time at the beginning of every meeting whereby they ask for member comments. And at that particular point in time, you can specifically speak your mind as to what you feel certain issues. If it's not on the agenda, then you can speak to it as long as it's being handled by that committee.
Right.
You don't go to the M&C committee to address a landscape problem.
Right.
So, but in any case, and that's basically all I have this week.
Okay.
Supposed to be back on next week because the M&C committee is happening next week. So.
All right, very good. And we always mention at the beginning of the program, the meetings that day. We do not mention the closed meetings, though, because we don't want you to hear a meeting time and then show up when it's a closed meeting. So we never mention those. Or what you have, sometimes they're just board president meeting or whatever it might be.
Exactly. It's closed
only
meeting.
Open meetings that we mention. All right, Carl, we'll see you next week, right?
Yep.
Take
Thank
care
you.
of yourself.
Take care. Bye-bye.
We'll be back.